Hey everyone, and welcome back to Talk Tickers. Today we are going deep on Upwork's Q4 2024 earnings call. Really trying to understand what's going on with this freelance marketplace giant and what it means for all of us expert speaker. What stood out to you the most from this report?
What's fascinating to me is how Upwork is not just like holding on, but thriving in this kind of crazy economy. They're reporting these record-breaking numbers for 2024 all-time highs in revenue and adjusted EBITDA earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, and even adjusted EBITDA margin.
So they are bringing in more cash and keeping more of it too.
Exactly. And it's really remarkable when you consider the economic headwinds everyone's been talking about. What's really striking is just how much they're outperforming the traditional staffing industry. Like Upwork grew 12% year over year, but the old school staffing world actually shrank by 9%.
Wow, okay, that's a huge difference. Why do you think that is? What's going on there?
Well, I think it really shows a fundamental change in how companies are thinking about talent. The traditional staffing model is just not as agile or efficient as what Upwork's doing. Businesses are starting to realize they can tap into this global talent pool online and get specific skills exactly when they need them without all the baggage of traditional hiring.
It's like the gig economy going mainstream even for these huge companies.
Yeah, exactly. And Upwork is right there riding that wave. And speaking of big waves, let's talk AI. For Upwork, AI isn't just a buzzword. It's becoming a core part of their game plan. They reported a whopping 60% year-over-year growth in GSV. That's gross services volume from work related to AI. Basically, you're talking about the total dollar value of all the work happening on their platform.
So basically, way more people are going to Upwork to find people with AI skills.
Exactly. Even niche areas like prompt engineering are exploding with a 93% surge just in Q4.
Now, prompt engineering, I've heard that term, but honestly, I'm not sure I totally understand it. What exactly is that?
It's essentially the art of writing the perfect input or prompt to get the best output from an AI model. Imagine it as speaking AI's language fluently.
Interesting. So like being a translator between humans and AI.
Exactly. And because it's such a specialized and in-demand skill, freelancers who can do this are commanding a premium. Upwork's data shows that people doing AI projects are earning like 44% more per hour than those working on non-AI projects.
Wow, that's significant. So anyone listening who's thinking about a career, maybe learning how to speak AI is a good idea.
Seems like a smart move for sure. But what's really interesting is Upwork isn't just watching this AI trend happen, they're actively shaping it with their own AI stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Uma, their AI-powered work companion.
Okay, so what exactly is Uma and what does it actually do?
Uma is there to make the whole Upwork experience smoother and more efficient for everybody involved. Think of it as an AI assistant that's always there to help, whether you're a client trying to hire or a freelancer looking for work.
Can you give me some real-world examples of how Uma works?
For sure. On the client side, one of the coolest things is Uma's job post generator. It helps you write job descriptions that are clear, concise, and actually attract the right people. Over 70% of new clients are already using this thing, and Upwork says it's leading to better job posts and faster hiring.
Yeah, it can be hard to get all those details right in the job posting, so having an AI help sounds pretty useful.
Absolutely. And then for freelancers, Uma can help you write stronger proposals that highlight your skills and experience so they really resonate with potential clients. This has actually boosted bid volume on Upwork by 2.5%, which means more chances for freelancers to get hired.
It's like having an AI coach in your corner helping you put your best foot forward.
Precisely. And this is just the start. Upwork is constantly making Uma smarter and adding new features.
Sounds like they're going all in on AI.
They are, and it's a smart move. By embracing AI, Upwork is positioning itself as a leader in this new world of work. They're not just reacting to the changes, they're actively shaping how we work and collaborate.
Now let's talk about Upwork's enterprise business, how they work with these larger companies. Even though a lot of businesses are tightening their belts, Upwork's enterprise segment grew by 4% year over year, hitting $107 million in revenue. Pretty impressive, right?
It is, especially in this economic climate. But Upwork seems to have cracked the code on how to appeal to these bigger companies.
So what's their secret? How are they doing it?
Part of it is definitely strategic planning. They launched this new premium plan called Business Plus, designed specifically for bigger clients. It comes with all these extra features and benefits like dedicated account managers, fancy reporting tools, and priority support. It's like the VIP treatment for enterprise clients.
That makes sense. Bigger companies have totally different needs than individual freelancers or small businesses.
Exactly. And Upwork understands that and is catering to those needs. And the early results for Business Plus look good. They are seeing higher conversion rates from people signing up to actually posting jobs and starting projects compared to regular clients.
So it sounds like their plan is working. They're bringing in more big companies, and those companies are actually using the platform and hiring people.
Exactly. And this could be a big growth area for Upwork moving forward, especially as more companies get on board with using freelance talent.
It sounds like they're onto something here.
Mhm.
Now, another thing that caught my attention in their report is just how much they're making from advertising and monetization.
Mhm.
This segment grew by a massive 51% year over year in 2024. That's huge.
It is. It shows that Upwork is becoming more than just a platform. It's building a whole ecosystem around freelance work with all these tools and services that people on both sides are willing to pay for.
So, like, what kind of paid services are we talking about?
Well, one of their most popular ones is Freelancer Plus. It's a subscription for freelancers that gives them all these perks, like a better visibility in search results, personalized insights, and even access to special webinars and training. It helps them stand out from the crowd and get more work.
So, kind of like a premium membership for freelancers that gives them an edge.
Exactly. And the fact that Freelancer Plus revenue jumped by 58% year over year shows that freelancers see real value in it.
Sounds like a win-win situation. Upwork makes money, and freelancers get the tools to boost their careers.
Absolutely. Beyond Freelancer Plus, Upwork has all sorts of other advertising options for clients and freelancers, like sponsored job posts, featured profiles, and targeted ads. They're really good at making money from the platform without being annoying for the users.
Finding that balance is tricky, but it sounds like they've got it figured out.
They do, and I think it's a big part of their success. They are creating a sustainable business that benefits everyone involved, freelancers, clients, and investors.
All right, so we've covered a lot. Upwork's impressive financials, their big focus on AI, and their success with enterprise solutions. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. What does all this tell us about the future of work?
I think Upwork is like a snapshot of this huge shift that's happening. The traditional 9 to 5 job is becoming less common, and more people are embracing freelance work either as their main income or just to supplement what they're already making. And technology, especially AI, is a big part of this change.
So you're saying platforms like Upwork are actually enabling this move towards a more flexible and independent way of working.
Absolutely. They are providing the tools and the connections that make it possible for people to work from anywhere on their own terms and do work they actually enjoy.
That sounds pretty awesome,
Yeah.
but it also raises some questions. What are some of the potential downsides to this shift towards freelancing?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's something we need to think about carefully. One of the biggest challenges is the lack of traditional benefits like health insurance, paid time off, and retirement plans. When you're a freelancer, you are your own business, which means you have to handle all that stuff yourself.
That's a big responsibility, and it could be pretty overwhelming for some people.
It can be. And then there's the fact that freelance work can be unsteady. Your income might change from month to month, and there's no guarantee of constant work. That can make it tough to plan for the future and make big financial decisions.
Those are valid concerns.
Yeah.
So what can be done to make freelance work more stable and secure for everybody?
I think a few things need to happen. First, we need better safety nets for freelancers, like portable benefits plans that you can take with you from job to job. Second, we need more education and resources to help freelancers manage their money, market their skills, and handle the ins and outs of running a business. And third, we need to change how we think about work and success. We need to move away from this idea of a single full-time job and embrace the idea of a portfolio career where people have multiple income sources and different skills.
Those are all great points.
Yeah.
It sounds like we need a whole new way of thinking about work and its place in our lives.
Exactly. Platforms like Upwork can really help drive this change. By giving freelancers the tools and resources they need, and by pushing for policies that support independent workers, they can help shape the future of work in a positive way.
Okay, so we've covered a ton today, from Upwork's amazing financial performance to this bigger conversation about the freelance revolution. Now, before we get to our This Is Not Financial Advice segment, let's take a quick step back and talk about earnings calls themselves. For anyone who's not familiar, can you explain what they are and why they matter for investors and anyone who wants to understand a company?
Sure. An earnings call is like a big conference call where a public company's leadership team talks about how they did financially over a specific period, usually a quarter or a year. They'll go over key numbers like revenue, profit, and earnings per share, and they often give some hints about what they expect in the future.
So it's a way for the company to directly communicate with investors and the public about how things are going.
Exactly. And it's important because investors get to ask questions, hear from the leaders directly, and get a feel for the overall health of the company. It also helps the company manage expectations and build trust with investors.
That makes sense. So anyone listening who's interested in investing in individual stocks, paying attention to these calls is a good idea.
Absolutely. It's one of the best ways to stay informed about the companies you are invested in or might want to invest in.
All right, so now that we know what earnings calls are all about, let's move on to our This Is Not Financial Advice segment, where we have a little fun and brainstorm some crazy, but maybe not totally impossible trade ideas.
Sounds good to me. I'm always up for a little speculation.
Okay, so inspired by Upwork's incredible growth in the AI world, I have an idea that might sound wild, but hear me out. What if Upwork, using its huge network of freelancers and their deep understanding of what skills are hot right now, created their own cryptocurrency?
Hold on, talk ticker coin, you're saying. Tell me more.
Just think about it. They could integrate it right into their platform, letting clients pay freelancers directly with this coin.
Right.
It could be a great way to get people using it early and build loyalty, especially among freelancers who are often the first to embrace new tech.
Okay, I'm following you. What would make this coin special? Like, what would set it apart from all the other crypto out there?
Here's the interesting part. They could tie the value of this coin to the average hourly rate on Upwork. So instead of being super volatile like Bitcoin or Ethereum, it would be a stable coin that reflects the actual value of work happening in the real world. It could completely change the game for global payments in the freelance economy.
Now, that's a really interesting idea. It could cut down on transaction fees, speed up payments, and maybe even create new ways for Upwork to make money. Of course, there would be regulatory stuff and technical challenges, but the potential is huge.
Exactly. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll all be paying our freelancers with talk ticker coin.
I like it. But jokes aside, this idea just shows how innovative and forward-thinking Upwork is. They're not afraid to shake things up and explore new ideas. That's what makes them so interesting.
Absolutely.
Welcome back to Talk Tickers. Let's jump right back into our deep dive on Upwork's Q4 2024 earnings call.
All right, so in part one, we talked about the big picture stuff. Upwork's record-breaking year, their focus on AI, their success with big companies. Now I'm ready to get into the nitty-gritty details. Where do we start?
Let's look at their gross service volume, or GSV, which is basically the total dollar value of all the work happening on Upwork. When you adjust for something called the Sunday effect, it's just a quirk in how they calculate things. GSV was down 3.6% year over year in Q4, but it's been pretty stable for the last 3 quarters. This tells us that after some bumps earlier in the year, Upwork is finding its groove again.
So they rode out the storm and came out stronger.
That's fair. Yeah. It is. It shows the demand for what they offer is still there, even with the economy being a little shaky. And both their marketplace and enterprise sides contributed to this positive trend. Marketplace revenue, which comes from individuals and smaller businesses, actually went up by 4% to $163.7 million.
Okay, so their core business is still doing well.
Exactly. And get this, even with the economy slowing down, Upwork managed to grow its enterprise revenue by 5% year over year, hitting $27.8 million in Q4. That's where their decision to launch business. Plus, that premium plan we talked about really seems to be paying off.
It's like they saw the market changing and built something perfect for what those bigger companies need.
Exactly. They're thinking strategically about how to capture different parts of the market.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about something super important for Upwork's financials, their take rate. Basically, this is the percentage of each transaction that Upwork keeps as revenue.
Okay, makes sense. So the higher the take rate, the more money they make.
Right. And in Q4, their marketplace take rate was 18.1%, which is a pretty big jump from 15.9% in the same quarter last year.
Whoa, that's a big increase. What's behind that? Are they charging more, or is there something else going on?
It's a few things, actually. Upwork has adjusted some prices, but they've also been really successful with their advertising and those premium subscriptions for freelancers. So it's not just about squeezing more out of each transaction. They're also creating new ways to make money.
I'm curious, though, about the potential downsides of this higher take rate. Are freelancers happy about it?
That's a really good question. Some freelancers might be worried that a higher take rate means they take home less, but Upwork says the value they provide, the platform, the marketing, the access to clients, makes those fees worthwhile. It's a delicate balance, and it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. So overall, it sounds like Upwork is finding a good balance between making money and keeping their users happy.
It seems that way.
What?
And they aren't slowing down. They expect a smaller take rate increase in 2025, but they're still focused on coming up with new strategies to grow even more in the years to come.
Okay, so they're playing the long game. Now let's talk about profitability. Upwork hit a record high adjusted EBITDA margin of 26.2% in Q4. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. EBITDA margin basically shows how much profit a company makes compared to its revenue. So a higher EBITDA margin usually means the company is making more money and managing its costs better.
So in this case, a record high EBITDA margin means they're doing a great job of controlling expenses and turning a profit.
Exactly. It shows they're being smart with their spending and focusing on growth that actually makes money. Their non-GAAP operating expenses, which are basically their day-to-day costs, were way lower in Q4, showing they're committed to efficiency.
They're not just growing, they're growing smart.
Exactly. They're making sure that growth turns into real profits. Now let's look at their managed services offering. This is where they go beyond just connecting freelancers and clients and actually manage the entire project.
So it's like they're stepping in as the middleman, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Exactly. And this part of their business is growing too, with revenue up 8% year over year in Q4.
Why do you think that is? What's driving that growth?
I think more and more businesses are wanting a hands-off approach to outsourcing. They realize they can save time and stress by letting Upwork handle all the details of finding, vetting, and managing freelancers.
It's like having a whole team ready to go without the hassle of hiring them yourself.
Right. Now, zooming out to their whole year performance, Upwork had record revenue of $769.3 million in 2024, a 12% increase from the year before. This was actually better than they predicted, which shows they can deliver even when the economy isn't great.
Okay, so they're exceeding expectations.
Yeah.
That's a good sign for investors.
It is. It shows their business model is strong and they're doing a good job with their strategy. Now, for their outlook in 2025, they're being cautious about the economy, but they're still confident about growth. They expect revenue to be between $740 million and $760 million in 2025. And they are really focused on building momentum for even faster growth in 2026.
So they're thinking long term. They're not just focused on the next few months. They're building a foundation for growth that lasts.
Exactly. And their investment priorities for 2025 show that long-term vision. They are going all in on AI, expanding what they offer to big companies, and refining their advertising strategies. These are all areas that can lead to big growth in the future.
All right, let's unpack those investment priorities a bit.
Yeah.
Starting with AI. We talked about Uma, but how else is Upwork using AI to make its platform better and create value for users?
They are approaching AI from multiple angles. First, they are continuing to invest in Uma, making it even smarter and more capable. They want Uma to become a true AI agent that can handle tougher tasks and figure out what users need before they even ask.
So it's not just about automating simple things. It's about creating an AI partner that really understands and supports the work process.
Yes, exactly. Second, Upwork is using AI to improve its matching algorithms. By analyzing tons of data on skills, experience, project requirements, and freelancer performance, their AI can connect businesses with the best talent faster and better.
So less time wasted looking through profiles and more time actually getting things done.
Precisely. And this better matching helps both sides. Clients get better talent, and freelancers get opportunities that are a good fit.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about the third angle? How else are they using AI?
They're also experimenting with AI tools that can help with specific tasks during the work itself. For example, they're developing tools to help with scoping out projects, writing proposals, and even generating code.
Wow, so they're not just connecting people, they're also using AI to help people do the work itself.
Exactly. It's a really interesting approach, and it could change how we think about freelance work. As AI gets better, Upwork wants to explore all the ways it can be used to improve the freelance experience.
Okay, so AI is a big focus for Upwork, which makes sense given how fast it's changing.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to their enterprise strategy. You mentioned they grew by 4% year over year, reaching $107 million in revenue. What are they doing to attract those big companies, and what's their vision for the future of enterprise freelancing?
Upwork sees a huge opportunity with big companies. More and more of them are realizing the benefits of freelance talent to get specialized skills, be more agile, and save money. Upwork's strategy is to create solutions specifically for the needs of these large organizations.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Not at all. They're all about providing a top-notch experience for their enterprise clients. This means dedicated account managers support that's tailored to their needs and seamless integration with the systems they already use. They're making it super easy for big companies to incorporate Upwork into how they work.
So it's about meeting those companies where they are and making the switch to using freelancers as smooth as possible.
Exactly. They are also building tools just for enterprise use cases, things like advanced reporting, robust security features, and tools to help teams work together seamlessly. They want to give those big companies everything they need to manage large freelance projects without a hitch.
So they're providing the infrastructure and support that makes these big companies comfortable embracing freelance talent in a big way.
Exactly. And they're not just providing tools and support, they're also teaming up with other companies that offer enterprise software and services. These partnerships make their platform even more attractive to large companies by connecting it to the systems they're already using.
So they're creating a whole ecosystem around enterprise freelancing. That's smart.
It is. Now, what's really cool is Upwork's vision for the future of enterprise freelancing. They see a world where big companies embrace this hybrid workforce model where freelance talent works side by side with in-house teams.
So it's not about replacing traditional employees, it's about creating a more adaptable workforce that can change with the times.
Exactly. And Upwork wants to be the platform that makes this transition to a hybrid workforce as smooth and beneficial as possible. They want to be the solution for companies of all sizes who want to tap into the power of freelance talent. Now let's switch gears and talk about Upwork's advertising and how they make money. You mentioned earlier that this segment grew by a crazy 51% year over year in 2024. Can you break down what they're doing and explain how they're getting those incredible results?
They've been really smart about finding different ways to make money and coming up with creative ways to bring in revenue from their platform. They realize they have this huge user base, both clients and freelancers, and that opens up some great opportunities for targeted advertising and premium services.
So they are taking advantage of their network to create new value.
Exactly. One of their key advertising products is Freelancer Plus, which we talked about before. It's a subscription service that helps freelancers stand out, get more visibility, and have access to better tools and resources. And the fact that revenue from Freelancer Plus went up by 58% year over year shows just how much value freelancers see in it.
It's a clever move by Upwork because they're not just making money, they're also helping their freelancers be more successful.
Exactly. And it creates this positive feedback loop. The more successful freelancers are, the more attractive Upwork is to clients. And that brings in even more freelancers.
Right. It's a win-win. And beyond Freelancer Plus, Upwork offers all sorts of other advertising options for clients and freelancers like sponsored job posts, featured profiles, and those targeted banner ads. They have a pretty wide range of tools that help businesses and freelancers reach the right people within Upwork.
And that targeted approach is good for advertisers, and it also makes the experience better for everyone using the platform. The ads are more relevant and less likely to be annoying.
Exactly. Everybody wins. Another important part of Upwork's monetization strategy is their focus on creating new products and services that meet specific needs in the freelance marketplace.
So it's about going beyond just the basic platform and offering something extra, something that solves a problem or makes the whole freelance experience better.
Exactly. Their managed services offering is a great example of this. It's a more hands-on solution for businesses that want someone else to handle the complexities of managing freelance projects. Upwork charges more for this service, which brings in more money while providing a valuable solution for a specific group of clients.
So they're always innovating and looking for new ways to add value and create new revenue streams.
That's right. And that's one of the things that makes them so interesting to follow. They're not afraid to try new things, and they are constantly adapting to what's happening in the freelance market.
Welcome back to Talk Tickers. This is part 3 of our deep dive into Upwork's Q4 2024 earnings call.
Yeah, we've had a really interesting conversation so far digging into not just the numbers, but what they mean for the future of work.
Exactly. We've talked about their financials, their focus on AI and enterprise solutions, and now I want to zero in on a couple of key metrics that I thought were really interesting in their report.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's hear them.
First, their non-GAAP gross margin hit a record high of 78%. I know we talked about profitability, but this number really shows how good they are at managing costs and making more profit from each dollar of revenue.
That's a really strong margin, especially for a company that's still growing. It tells me they're building a solid base for the future.
Right. And the second one that stood out to me is their free cash flow for the quarter, which was a solid $34.7 million. And that's after accounting for a charge related to restructuring. It shows they're generating real cash, not just profits on paper.
Absolutely. Strong free cash flow gives them options to invest, buy other companies, or even return value to shareholders. It's a great sign for a healthy and growing business.
Now let's talk about their active client base. At the end of 2024, they had 832,000 active clients, which is down a little from earlier in the year, but there's a really interesting trend here.
I see where you're going with this. Even though the total number of clients dipped a bit, their average spend per client, what they call GSV per active client, has been steadily climbing.
Exactly. So even with a slightly smaller client base, the clients they do have are spending more on Upwork.
That's a good sign. It suggests Upwork is attracting those higher value clients who are using the platform for larger, more complex projects.
It also tells me that Upwork is becoming more integrated into how their clients work. It's not just a one-time thing for a quick project. It's becoming a core part of their operations.
That's a great point. And this trend of increasing GSV per active client wasn't just in one area of their business, it was across the board. That's a strong signal that Upwork is delivering real value to a wide variety of clients.
Okay, so we've looked at the numbers. Now let's get back to Upwork's enterprise strategy. We talked before about their impressive growth in this area, 4% year over year, hitting $107 million in revenue. Can you talk about some of the things they are doing to attract and keep those big enterprise clients?
Sure. Upwork knows that large companies have specific needs, and they're adapting their approach. One key area is giving them a premium experience. This means dedicated account managers who get the company's needs, personalized support, and seamless integration with the systems they already use. They're making it super easy for big companies to make Upwork part of their workflow.
It's like they're giving those big clients the VIP treatment.
Exactly. And beyond that, they're also building features specifically for enterprise clients. This includes advanced reporting and analytics to track progress and measure ROI, strong security and compliance features to address data protection and regulatory concerns, and tools that make it easy for in-house teams and freelancers to work together.
So they're thinking about everything, addressing not just the practical side of working with freelancers, but also the concerns big companies have about security, compliance, and integration.
Absolutely. They're trying to anticipate and solve any problems that might stop big companies from adopting Upwork.
We've talked a lot about how Upwork is adapting to changes, but what about their role in shaping the future of work? Where do they see this all going?
Upwork has a really interesting take on this. They see a future where big companies embrace a hybrid workforce, blending in-house teams with freelance talent. This would let businesses find the best people for any project, no matter where they are or how they work.
It's like getting the best of both worlds, the stability of traditional employment with the flexibility and agility of freelance work.
Exactly. And Upwork wants to be the platform that makes this shift to a hybrid workforce easy and beneficial. They want to be the go-to solution for companies of all sizes who are looking to tap into freelance talent.
Okay, so we've talked about financials, strategies, their vision. Now I want to get back to our "this is not financial advice" segment, where we let our imaginations run wild and come up with some out there trade ideas.
I'm ready. Hit me with your latest crazy idea.
Okay, so we talked about how much Upwork is into AI and how they see themselves as being at the forefront of this new world of work. Now picture this. What if freelancers had their own currency, a token that represents the value they create? Let's call it the Upwork Talent Token.
Okay, interesting. Tell me more. How would this Upwork Talent Token actually work?
Imagine clients on Upwork buy these tokens and use them to pay freelancers. The value of the tokens could be linked to the average hourly rate on Upwork, making it a stablecoin, unlike the crazy ups and downs we see with other cryptocurrencies.
I see. So it would create a more stable and predictable way for freelancers to get paid, which is something that's often missing in the gig economy.
Exactly. And because it's tied to Upwork, it would have built-in demand and be easy to trade. Freelancers could easily switch their tokens back into regular money if they needed to, or they could hold on to them as an investment.
I see where you're going with this. It could create a whole new system within Upwork where freelancers use their tokens to buy things like software training or even insurance, all within Upwork.
Exactly. And as Upwork keeps growing around the world, the Upwork Talent Token could become a global currency for freelancers, making it easier to pay people across borders and empowering freelancers everywhere.
Of course, there would be a ton of regulatory and logistical hurdles, but it's a cool idea. It shows how much innovation is happening in the freelance world and how blockchain technology could change the game.
And that's what "This is not financial advice" is all about: exploring the possibilities and seeing how technology, finance, and the future of work all come together. But before we wrap up, I want to remind everyone one last time that nothing we've talked about should be taken as financial advice.
Definitely. We're just two people having a conversation, sharing our thoughts. Do your own research, talk to a financial advisor, and make smart decisions based on your own situation.
Well said. Okay, it's time to wrap up our deep dive into Upwork's Q4 2024 earnings call. We've talked about a lot, from their financials to their strategies to their vision for the future. It's clear that Upwork is leading a major shift in how we work, and it's exciting to see them shape this new world.
Couldn't agree more. They're definitely a company to keep an eye on.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back soon with more earnings call analysis and discussions about the future of work. Until then, happy investing, everyone.